Hey guys, this is Chetan for Gizmo Times and you're watching a quick unboxing and hands-on with the entire feature overview of the Realme Watch S Pro, the premium smartwatch from Realme. Probably the first one to actually upgrade the Realme Watch, which was a very basic one, but the S Pro here comes with some strong specifications. To begin with, if we look at the specifications itself, the box packaging basically has some misinformation, which is the wrong information being printed, but the actual box will have a 3.5 centimeter mentioned there for the display, which is 1.39 inch. The inch actually is the same. It's AMOLED touchscreen display that you see here, and it has quite a lot of features. 454 into 454 pixels of resolution and 326 ppi, that's the pixel density, actually making it a very sharp and a beautiful display. So as soon as you open the box package, what you see is the watch itself, and there's nothing else except for the charger or the charging cradle, as well as the user manual. And this is the watch which comes with a stainless steel design, the Corning Gorilla Glass protection on the front for the scratch resistance. On the back you have the heart rate sensor as well as the SpO2 monitor provided there, and the watch actually feels premium in the hand. There are multiple options for the bands. What you have is the regular bands as well as the vegan leather bands. So silicone 3 colors and vegan leather 4 colors in total. And this is the charging cradle with that pogo pins. So this would, if you actually place the watch in the right position, only then the watch would charge. And then there's this user manual. So in the box you have nothing else, only these are the things that you see. And the watch actually has a design just like a regular watch, but it still is smart, and it has different watch faces. Around 9 watch faces is what you see on the watch itself, and then you have 100 in the app. You have more and more watch options, and you can actually have any photo from the gallery to actually set it as a watch face. These are the different applications, and if you go further into this, you'll see the options for your activity cycles, then the sleep monitor and the heart rate monitor as well. I'll also show you how you can set those things up and how you can actually switch the heart rate monitoring tracking there. And these are the different applications. So if we go into the settings first to begin with, you'll see the different options under the smartwatch. And if we talk about the specifications here, the battery on this smartwatch is 420 mAh, which Realme claims to have about 14 days of battery life even when it's always connected. So there's this always on display, which actually would reduce the battery life if you keep it on, but obviously it has its own advantages, and you don't have the feature of raise to wake available if you have the always on display turned on. So this is how it looks like if you have the always on display turned on. Now if you go into the settings, back to settings, you can see the other options such as screen off. So you can have this timer set for how many seconds before the screen turns off itself. You have this feature of raise to wake, then the vibration intensity, and also the do not disturb mode. So these are the major settings that you can play around with in your smartwatch, but there are more and more things that you can change inside the application. That's the Realme Link app that is in your smartphone. Right now we have only Android support, but I'm waiting for the iOS support because my primary smartphone right now is the iPhone 12 Pro. So I'm obviously waiting for the update on the iOS application so that I could actually use it in a far better way. Now these are the 5 brightness levels that you see here, and they have different levels of 15, 35, 55, 75 and 100%, or you can actually set it to auto brightness because there is an auto brightness sensor on the top which would actually set the brightness automatically, which is something we don't really see on smartphones, smartwatches in this price range. So now going back into this, and if you turn off the always on display, only then the raise to wake feature would work. And just to give you a demo, this is how easily it would work. If you lift your hand this way while wearing the watch face would actually get activated very easily. Now on the back are these sensors which would light up whenever you try to see that they are, the sensor is trying to check the heart rate or even the SpO2 levels. Now on the side there are 2 buttons. One is for going back and one is for the sports mode. So you have multiple sports mode being supported here, and that is for different sports. Majorly this time what Realme has said that on swimming there is more and more support given for the swimming, and there's 6-axis accelerometer and also the gyroscope support for the proper tracking of swimming and the other sports activities. There's also the 5 atm water resistance here, so that also helps in keeping the phone waterproof. Now this is the Realme Link application that gives you all the features such as the tracking of your steps and also the heart rate as well as the sleep tracking. Now if you go into the heart rate tracking, I have set it to 5 minutes interval, so every 5 minutes the heart rate would be tracked, and you can see how much is the heart rate, the average heart rate here, the resting heart rate, maximum and minimum as well. And along with that you can also set alerts. Whenever there's low or high heart rates, you can actually set alerts for them. And under the steps as well, you can see the amount of calories being burnt. That is an average just taken out based on your regular walking or the step activities. And there's also the distance traveled during the day. Now we right now have a sedentary life mostly, so the step tracking there is not so good for me, but still that should be okay right now. And these are the watch faces that you can actually switch between. So if you try to change any actually, if you try to change any watch face here, you can see that it takes about 30 seconds for the downloading of the watch face and going into the watch face of this smartwatch itself now, and that would actually change it directly on the watch, and the display being the AMOLED one, it actually has very great colors and it feels and looks pretty good for the different kind of watch faces that you set up there. And you can actually have the gallery photos to have as a watch face. Now here there's that 24-hour monitoring, which you can always have it activated, and I have it at 5 minutes, but you can have different set of intervals, or you can actually turn off the 24-hour heart rate monitoring there. You can have the threshold for the high heart rate alert or the low heart rate alert, and you can set the heartbeats. I mean, how many heartbeats do you want the alerts to be at? If it's very low or very high, you can set it to receive alerts based on that when you're actually having some activities done. And if you're running and that's when, if you see the heart rate is very high, you'll get the alert for the same. And there's also the music playback control. You have Find My Device. These are the basic features that you see on most of the smartwatches, and it actually works pretty fine on the Realme Watch S Pro. So there are multiple features. So this is how the feature of actually finding your device or finding a smartphone from the watch works. If you go into this and you have the option of finding your phone, so this is how it would actually send a notification with some sound so that the phone can be easily found, because the watch, as usual, you'll be wearing the watch, so the phone is what you would want to find usually. And you also have the camera controller, where you can actually control the camera and not totally control it, but you'll have to switch the modes on the smartphone, and then you can easily control the shutter button. That's it. You can turn on the video recording or you can take the photo, but the mode has to be switched on the smartphone, obviously. So now if you go into the camera application and see a quick demo of this one, there's all this option of tap to take, and as soon as you tap on that, it would obviously take the photo. It's real time, it works pretty fine. And if you go into the video mode and tap on that, it would start the video recording. Tapping on that again would stop the video recording, and the capture is done. So in the end, it's still on the smartphone itself that you'll have to control a few things, but this works as a shutter button, and it's just a basic feature that you see on most of the watches, but it works pretty fine. So that's one more feature added to the list of the Realme Watch S Pro. And here's the weather notifications or the weather alerts, and the entire page for weather that is on the smartwatch, that gives you some forecast and also the temperature and the current weather conditions of your locality. So that's it, guys. This was a quick demo of the Realme Watch S Pro, the entire feature overview of this smartwatch. It actually is feature loaded, and in future there are some updates going to arrive. That is what the company has mentioned to us, that once we get the updates, we would have better features there, but you are waiting for those. So always on display OTA soon was being said to us, so we have got the always on display as you saw here. So that's it, guys. This was all about the Realme Watch S Pro. I hope you like this video. If you do, share and subscribe to Gizmo Times for more. Thanks for watching. See you in our next video.